The world of finance can be an intimidating place. Where to invest, how to protect those investments, how to prepare for retirement. For every road we travel looking for answers, we're finding new, inventive ways to navigate.
In this era of unparalleled national and global financial turmoil, especially at the federal level, it has become increasingly obvious for some that the solutions to the challenges we are facing are within each state, its counties, cities, and local communities, and not in Washington, D.C. When it comes to the ones that truly made this country once the economic envy of the world, the small business owners and entrepreneurs, the ability for them to succeed and thus keep the American dream alive is dependent on their ability to access the financial resources and service they need.
At Bank of North Carolina, we take a very much of a grassroots approach. We put lenders in both the larger communities and the smaller communities, and we put those in the local offices. We don't have a centralized office where all these people are really not necessarily connected within those communities. And knowing our client, knowing our customer, we treat those relationships as partnerships. Over the years, and particularly through this economic crisis, those partnerships have paid off. We've been able to work with clients, to save clients, to help assist them to get through this, that otherwise, if we hadn't had that partnership, we would have been able to do that, and their companies would have failed. Our approach and the communication, I think, has really helped us certainly get through the crisis, but it's also, helped the community and helped our clients make it through.
The multinational conglomerate banks have shown themselves to be a part of the cause of our current economic challenges and not the solution. When trillions of U.S. tax dollars are given to these institutions, many of them foreign, only to have them freeze domestic lending, while maxing out interest rates Americans are paying on their credit cards and foreclosing on homes for paltry sums, it becomes clear these banks are not operating with the best interest of this nation, nor its people in mind. This is one of the reasons community banks are becoming one of the fastest growing banks in the country.
Community banks are very local. They're owned by the people in their communities. If those banks do well, they pay dividends back to those communities. Community banks are very much involved in economic development in their local communities, and also in all the charitable activities that go on at the local level. So community banks play a different kind of role. And of course, they can't make large loans to large corporations because they're not large enough. So we need different banks for different things, and that's what this country's got.
Community banks, such as Bank of North Carolina, are owned and operated by local business people, themselves members of the community they serve and partner in. In addition to being owned by members of the community, banks such as Bank of North Carolina share another commonality with the people they serve. They're overregulated and unfairly burdened by lawmakers who are intent on giving others an unfair advantage.
The issue with the overregulation is the congressional side of things. As the banking system, the entire banking system, got painted with a broad brush, well, if B of A has to have all of this regulation, then Bank of North Carolina, you're going to have to do it too. And we quite frankly don't have the resources. The cost at the end of the day is laid at the feet of the consumer. Community banks' choice is one of two. Either you figure out how to accomplish that and earn some reasonable level for your shareholders, or you have to sell to a big bank. The regulatory environment, although they won't admit it, is built to shrink the banking system. It's clearly built. There's going to be the haves and the have-nots, the winners and the losers.
At a time when other banks are scaling back and closing down, Bank of North Carolina is expanding, lending, and growing the economies of North and South Carolina.
We chose to work with Bank of North Carolina because they took the time to get to know the business, really took the time to get to know me. As a result, we've been able to grow faster, been able to hire faster, been able to invest in our business at a higher rate than we otherwise would have been able to. And I don't see a big multinational bank ever taking the time and effort with us.
To learn more about Bank of North Carolina, visit them online at www.bankofnc.com or call them at 1-800-262-7175.